Hi there everyone, Musical David here. We're at Oodnadatta, having just refueled our aircraft at this wonderful Bowser. And a month ago we arrived here on our Around Australia in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And we'll be heading off again in good old Sierra Golf Echo up to Ayers, Uluru, Connelan, Yalara. They're all the same place, by the way. Musical David here. We're at Oodnadatta, having just refueled our. For some reason, I have myself playing to myself. Don't know which window that's in. Around Australia. There it is, found it. Hi there, QJets. Hope you're well. Let's have a look at our flight plan, shall we? So, coming out of Oodnadatta, we're going to be flying just to the south of Marala and then continuing over to a now abandoned town called Mintabi. Last time we were in these parts it was 2019 and we were flying P3D and that town was being removed. All the people that were living there were told to leave because it was being reabsorbed into the APY lands, which is the Mybro decision thing, which created an entire area that's run by the Aboriginal people that live there. There used to be an airfield there. It's no longer gazetted because nobody's allowed to live in that town anymore. So instead of going through, well, we will fly over the top of the X site of Mintabi and then heading up north past this Umura. Is it that one? No, it's heading that way, I think. Anyway, we're heading towards Ayers after Mintabi. There's a little bit of a funky thing here not far from Curtin Springs, which is Mount Connelan or something like that. And it's basically false Ayers Rock. It looks a little bit like Ayers Rock, but it's not. So we're going to do a little loop around that, hopefully, and then we'll head on into the real one. Now, at the real one, there is this entire VFR scenic route. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to fly straight into the airfield and do a stop. That means at some future point we might take a helicopter route to do the VFR route at some later date. Not sure when that'll be. Not this stream, that's when. Hi there, Crab. We are at Oodnadatta, which is this one here. Yankee Oscar Oscar Delta. Ood. It is a 1,290 meter long runway, fully sealed. It does have, obviously, fuel services and handling, avgas in drums. We have an Ayers, which we're going to pick up in a second. Maybe once we're inside the aircraft. And yeah. And looking at our little Excel sheet, flight time is just under 2 hours. After takeoff, we're looking for a heading of 258. So let's jump in and get underway. Okay, one door closed, put the co-pilot in, close the door. Tie downs and everything are clear. Cold and dark clearly. And I need to prime the aircraft, so let's do that. Batteries in. Fuel pump. Make sure I have fuel selected. It is on the left tank. Beacon is on. Opening this thing up. Clear prop. This hasn't been started for a month, so let's see how she goes. Not bad at all. Parking brakes in. 1000 RPM. Close this up. Alright, heading is, I'm going to call that 036, something like that. Chuck in the map. Flight plan, Oodnadatta. Destination is YAYE, Ayers Rock. And I'm going to chuck in Mintaby if it's still there. May not be. Airport has been closed for about 2 years now. Yeah, it's still there. Okay. Cool. Hello there, Matteo. Good to see you. And Poppies, is it? Popez. From Spain. Alright, let's grab our AWIS, should I say.
Automated Weather Information Service, Oodnadatta Airport. Time 0928 Zulu. Wind 120 degrees magnetic at 9 knots. Temperature 18, dew point 3. QNH 1022 hectopascals. Rainfall last 10 minutes nil.
No clouds to speak of, QNH 1022. There's that. Goodo. Yeah, that's right. I forgot to actually log into Vatsim, didn't I? Funny. Anyhow, got a couple little tests to do before we start moving. Checking that. Cool, Autopilot's working. And we're finally logged in. Cool, sorted. Currently online. Okay, let's make our outbounds. We need to be on a CTAF frequency, which is 1267. Hello, Mr. A. Oodnadatta traffic, Sierra Golf Echo is a Piper Arrow, or an apron. We'll be taxiing out to runway 12 at Oodnadatta. Straight departure, Sierra Golf Echo. Instead of 12, it's 13. Alright, let's start moving. Brakes are released. As we egress, I'm on Vatsim. The Vatsim server, they're all the same. Okay, that's runway 13, time to do a run up. Brakes are in. RPM coming up to about 18. There we go. Okay, on to the left side. Looks reasonable. Yep. And the Altair. Checking the article. Hi, the Rodingo. It's something like 90%. Can't remember exactly, but it's most of it. Straight up donations, pretty much all of it. It's just the ad revenue that's whacked. There's a small handling fee of a couple of percent. Then there's taxes, which, yeah, it's American taxes, and then I have to pay the American tax in Australia, which is a little bit crazy. Alright, we are ready to roll. And fuel pump will be on for departure. Oodnadatta traffic, Sierra Golf Echo is entering runway 13. We're doing a left-hand downwind departure. Traffic, Oodnadatta. And the Rossi and Brody catching the bus, the 901 bus, one assumes. I do like that bus. Alright, runway 13, let's roll it. Pause a break, you're up. That RPM back to 25 set. Dingo for the 60. Nice. Thanks for that, Dingo. Cessna 414. A recommendation, I see. Oh, we might be able to take that out of into Alice Springs, which is the next flight, well, in 2 flights from now, next month. At the moment, September's looking excessively busy. There's today and there's Saturday, and there's not much in between. Next Saturday, of course, I'm playing in an orchestra, so that should be fun. Okay, let's look at the clock. It is 41 minutes past. Let's write that down. And we'll be looking for a heading of 258. On 3,500. 3535. 4,500, sorry. I can read. There's the heading. Come on, Autopilot. Do your thing. little more like it. Bye-bye, Oodnadatta. I'm going to chuck in the details. So, 7 minutes from 41 will be 48 to Neils River. So I should cross Neils River at time 48. So, level off. Actually get some of the speed back. Bomber 404, I'm using a Honeycomb Alpha. A very nice yoke, quite heavy, but yeah, it's very based around the Cessna 172, very much so. Quite heavily sprung. So the wind that we're expecting hasn't shown up at all. I'm just going to make sure that's on the real world weather. It is. Getting like 2 knots. I was expecting something more like 16. Hi there, Runzy. The good thing about that lack of wind is it will make the trip go a little bit quicker. The downside is we need to probably use nav mode rather than heading. Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. Ah, that's a side stick. I don't know why that wouldn't work. Doesn't fly-by-wire just use the standard configurator anyway? If it works in, say, this aircraft, it should work in A320. Time is 46, we're expecting 48 across the river that I can see right in front of me. Looks like that'll be the case. Ah, the throttle detents. Yeah, they're a bit tricky. Even with the honeycomb, it was quite tricky. And the rudder should just be the twist grip, shouldn't it? Time is 48, pretty much right on the line. I'd say we're a little bit late by a few seconds. – 1 Anyway, that's the river that we were tagging. Time is still 48. Maybe we'll say it's 48.5. Yeah, that's fine. It was indeed 48. Next up, 29 minutes to Mala. Call it 30. Call it what it is, 17. So I should be crossing Mala at time 17. You know what? I'm going to call that 49 at that point and make it 18. Because that's the river that we're crossing there. Yeah, I found that with PMD-G73 is that if you selected yoke as tiller, depending what axis that you have assigned the tiller to, it won't actually work. So make sure it is twist as rudder, not twist as tiller. Make sure that's backed up in the aircraft as well. The aircraft you can select either having a tiller or a rudder, or sometimes tiller and rudder, but you have to have it as rudder only, not tiller and rudder. What is our speed? It is not that, because we don't have that set yet. Alright, let's have a look at it. What is the temperature? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to go with 9. Currently we're at 4,500. So there. Temperature's plus 10, so it should be about there. 140, call it 142. I was closest to 145, but 142. Okay, it's going to be exactly 2 hours. And finally, let's get rid of the flashing light. How do we do that again? Like that. Alright, cool. That's equivalent of landing gear up and off. Just have to remember to bring that back into the completely back position before landing. Otherwise you don't get emergency gear extension if you need it. Okay, heading 259, 260 essentially. I've slewed off a bit. That wind's nothing to do with what we expected. I was expecting 19 knots, we got like 1. Peak. Sorted. Alright, mixture is set. Don't need the fuel pump anymore. Don't really need that at the moment either. And landing light can go off. Hi there, Matthew. Not quite a debut, but yeah, it's the first time in a very long time that I've been in a proper symphony orchestra. Can't wait. I was in a not really a symphony orchestra last week, but you know, yeah, it'll be good. Playing that. That's true, Dingo. Missed out on the brass band competition because half the band got COVID. And yeah, orchestras. The good thing about this orchestra concert is there's only one rehearsal, so he can't get sick. Like we have a rehearsal at 10 AM that goes for 6 hours with a break in there somewhere, and then we do a concert that very same night. So, symphony in a day. Trumpet parts aren't amazing, but you know. played today. I'm on the wrong mouthpiece, I suspect. Keep getting the water stuck in weird and wonderful places on the horn. There it is. So it's trumpet in E, which means I have to transpose up into E. I'm going to suggest we use C trumpets. My Baroque trumpet doesn't go that high. I can cook it up to E flat, but E no. So C trumpets it is. Hi there, Matteo. Yes, I do have a link for our venue. I'll go and grab it now and stuck it in the chat. And it's $10 for a ticket. 5 PM on Saturday, September the 10th, Malvern Town Hall. And that should be coming through. If you do buy a ticket, please show up. Can't show up, sell it to someone else. Make a profit if you can. Lots of very dry country out there, and I'm afraid it's going to be a flight full of that. We've got 12 knots. What heading would that be? Thinking 140, maybe a 15. Okay, yeah, it's probably that. And we'll go with 12 or 13. Currently showing 165. I reckon we've drifted a little bit, so we're going to move that way and that way. Speed is still tracking along quite well. We've gained 200 feet, so I'm just going to relax that forward a little bit. These aircraft don't really do autopilot for altitude. It's essentially trim with a yoke lock. That's it. So the yoke can be locked or unlocked, and the trim. Major. Need to work on those triplets a bit. So time 18, we should be there in about 10 minutes at Marla. At Marla we cross the highway. Stewart Highway. Meanwhile, we're passing over a whole bunch of land that nobody does much with. Yeah, it's time to play some Skullthorpe, I reckon, with that kind of landscape. Enjoy that copyright. Yes, I did. It is right here. Big natural trumpet. quite pretty. I have to learn how to play it properly. Not quite there yet. Getting close. Then I have to get an ensemble to play it with. One of the orchestras that I've just recently come involved with, not the Stonington one, have decided that they want to do Handel's Messiah for Christmas. So, you know, the trumpet shall sound. That's in the wrong key. So we put it in the correct key. One would grab the loop out of the instrument and put the straight pipe on it. Now I put it in the key of D instead of the key of C. So yeah, that's how you affect key change on a natural trumpet. Mouthpiece out first. Is it the wrong way around? Crook, as they call it. And then put the looped crook in. And now change key from D into C again. And that's how natural trumpets work. There's another crook for E flat, another crook for B flat. I've got the E flat one, but I don't have a B flat one or any others. So I've got 3 crooks, which means I have 3 keys. Time is 13. We are passing Marla at 18. Wonder if any of these little splotches on the ground are Marla. Funny town name, Marla, M-A-R-L-A. Sounds like Gustav Mahler, M-A-H-L-E-R. Good old Mahler. Okay, once we leave Mintaby, we do want to be on that heading, which is 304. Now this Brock trumpet also comes with an openable hole, which is essentially a tuning hole. You take out the piece of cork that's covering it up, and you can play certain notes more in tune. That's the cheat way of doing it. It's not the way they used to do it back in the 1700s. Like in 1700s, you'd have no hole there. You just played out of tune. Dan 007, good to see you there. How you doing? Oodnadatta. Time 17. That's very true, Matteo. The Brock trumpet has an extremely different sound. It's got almost nothing to do with the normal, like, 20th century trumpet. Most of the tube is a little bit wider, only by about 1 millimeter, but all the way through. From there all the way down up the length is wider until you get to this bell, which is narrower than the normal bell by quite a significant margin, to the point that if I want to put a mute in this bell, I use the piccolo trumpet mute. There's a piccolo trumpet mute. So if I was to put the two bells together, have a look at them. One fits pretty much neatly into the other bell. So tiny. So wide, 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 narrow. Have my hole open. Anyway, I believe we have passed our waypoint. Yeah. There's a Marla. And I think this coming up is the highway. Yep, that's definitely the highway there. So at the moment we're flying over Commonwealth land. We're in the nation of Australia, and in a few moments we'll be crossing over the highway, and to the west of the highway is the land belonging to APY, Anangu, Pitanchachara and Yankilajara. Both have a difficulty pronouncing that Y, the Y. But yeah, you can see we've got a big restricted area there. That's part of the Woomera test range. Occasionally they send rockets that may well land in that space there. Once upon a time in the 1960s they were blowing up nuclear weapons in that space. One assumes they've stopped doing that these days. There's the actual township of Marla, and just north of there is the track that goes out to Mintabee. Closed now for 2 years. 2 years ago they closed the track, kicked everyone out of Mintabee and said this is no longer a town. That's Mintabee way up into the distance there, that little white speck. We'll be flying over the top of that soon. So the APY lands put a lease on the township of Mintabee because people have been living there before the My Road decision went through. I think it's since about the 1950s. So people that were living there doing mining, mostly mining opal, were they had lease on the land. But the last of those leases ended in 2019, and at that point South Australian government kicked them out. No longer allowed to live in their own town. That's the Stuart Highway. The one next to it is the railway, and next to that is the telegraph line. So road, rail and telephone. Marla Airfield, and then out here Aborigine land. The Aborigines own this land under the corporation. If you're on the ground, you'd need a permit to actually drive there or walk there. I'm going to possibly drop out of Autopilot. We'll do a circle of Mintabee and then we'll skedaddle up towards the big rock. David, hello, how you doing? We're about to fly over the now abandoned town of Mintabee, forcibly closed in 2019. Yeah, Train Sim World 3, I've been looking at it. I'm probably not going to buy it for a very long time. Train Sim World 2 is working perfectly fine for me at the moment, and I have no desire for what they've got on offer on Train Sim World 3 yet. I know, one day they'll come out with, like, I don't know, the Piccadilly line. I'll have to buy it then. The City Circle line. Either the one in London or the one in Sydney, I'd buy that. But for now, yeah, Train Sim World 3, the current routes that they have, there's like one that's kind of interesting. I'll look at the videos, see if they're doing anything with those. They may not. So I'm told that the road to Mintaby, this road here, was quite a difficult track at times. What they'd call corrugated, which means that the mud starts building little mounds as it gets wet, then it dries and sets in these corrugations. So as you're driving across, your car's essentially having to go up and down by about 2 or 3 inches every half meter. Really bad for your suspension. So 2 options. One was to drive it really slow, we're talking like 20 kilometers an hour, or drive it at the perfect speed whereby the suspension just goes like that and the car remains pretty much stable as your suspension destroys itself. So yeah, there are your 2 options. Drive it excessively slow and keep your car okay, or, you know, go through a suspension every year. If you got the speed wrong, the entire car would bounce up and down, which is a bad ride. Looks pretty flat from up here, but as you can see, these quite distinctive fissures in the ground. They stick up not particularly high, maybe a couple 100 meters at most, but yeah, from the ground they're quite spectacular apparently. Obviously I haven't been out here in the real world, but back in another job I had technicians get dispatched out into this area, and we had to do satellite pings for every residence in this town, basically to make their TVs work. It's quite interesting trying to find them in this satellite view. It got so bad that we couldn't use the Google Maps because it wasn't highly detailed enough, and some of the houses are essentially holes in the ground. So we got near maps to do this section. We purchased like $1,000 or multiple thousands of dollars worth of very high definition satellite, well, not even satellite, I think it was aerial photography. Someone did an aerial survey of it, flying a Cessna 1 and 72 up and down, up and down. So yeah. And then a few years later they closed the town. Airfield's coming up right there. Let's kick ourselves out of Autopilot. I'm going to get my mixture back up. Autopilot disconnects. And I'll do one left-hand orbit. Traffic meant to be Sierra Golf Echo is a Piper Arrow. We are at 5,000 feet on descent. We'll be doing one orbit of Mintaby Township at 3,500 and then continuing northbound to Uluru. Traffic Mintaby. There shouldn't be any traffic at Mintaby because you're not allowed to be in this town anymore. All that white stuff is mostly tailings from the inside under the ground. They'll dig up a whole bunch of dirt, rock and stuff, crush it up, and then look for opal in it. That's what this town is for. Was for. Now it's for not being there anymore. Sometime in 2020, the pub in this town was burnt down. There's no people living here anymore, so you know, How did that happen? Yes, there were a few dodgy dealings that went down here apparently. There was a guy that used to live in the town 365 days a year, and a lot of the people that used to live here were mostly here for the mining, and they'd mine during the cold season, during the winter, and then during the summer they'd go into Adelaide to sell their opals in town. And of course the guy that was still living in the town would be given, you know, the keys to the houses, and he'd run up a bar tab, and apparently he potentially embezzled $1 million out of the residents at some point. That's the rumour that I heard anyway. There is a news article about it if you look it up. Buried under the Minterby town is being forcibly closed. The people that live here are all going to leave. They even had an area school that used to run. It was a mixed co-ed different years school with like 10 to 15 students spread between the ages of 5 and 18. But yeah, it was a proper actual school. None of this school of the air kind of stuff. 1 or 2 teachers. They used to do a, you know, entire school curriculum. If you look at Minterby School on YouTube, you might find a music video that the students put on. They wrote a song about their town, and yeah, wasn't too bad. We're not doing a touch and go. We might do a low pass of that on our next turnaround. They're meant to be Australia's newest ghost town. Real town in 2019, ghost town in 2020. One more lap. We'll cut it short this time. There's no need to worry about not flying overhead structures because they're not inhabited. There's the airport road there. Massive tailings deposit right there. We've essentially dug the entire underground and chucked it on top. You can see all these mining sites and scars in the earth. Hopefully some good opal came out of those. Anyhow, time to move on. Much like the people of Minterby have moved on, we also must. So I'm going to go to climb power. (2600 RPM) and set our new heading. The current time is 36. That was Minterby 36. And the next one will be 34 minutes away. Pukaja, which is the Aborigine town, the main Aborigine town of the lands that we are now flying over. Anangu Pichachara. Yankalila. Now the Nangu pretty much own a slab of territory all the way from, including Minterby, all the way up to Uluru, essentially. Now that we're at Minterby, I do need to swap fuel tanks, so fuel tank pump goes on and switching over to the right. Checking. Happy with that. Oh, the SAM-SC, yeah, I remember the 154, good times. Much simpler era, back when we thought that Russia might be a friend at some point. Remember those good old days? It's like, oh, the Russians aren't communists anymore, they're letting us in their country. I'm sure this Putin guy will eventually leave. It's not going to be that much a big deal. They're opening up their airspace and they're letting us fly across it. They're starting to use feet now. Yeah, that were good times. Tupolev 154, TU 154. Yeah, TU 154 in good old flight sim, was it 2004? Might have been FSX. No, it was 2004. FS9. So we want 6,500 on this climb. Yeah, Project Tupolev freeware, that's the one. They initially released it in FS9, 2004. They eventually did release it into FSX, but it took a while. So I'm pretty sure it's still flying on FS9. 3004 should be about there. Let's get the autopilot back in. Heading mode select. So the biggest town in APY lands is Fregon or Fregon. Again, you need to apply for a permit to even come here at all. They only let a certain amount of non-Aboriginal people in this area at any given time. It's essentially theirs. They own this. Some of them used to be ex-ranch, like cattle ranch runs, and you can still see some of these old structures which used to be used as like wells for cattle. You drive the cattle to this area and you have a well. Literally that one there is a well. And the cattle will be able to drink from the well and then roam around. Some of the wells are still used as wells, but you know, it's Aboriginal land. There's a lot of it too. As in, we'll be flying over this section to 34 minutes to Pukaja, and then another 9 minutes to the border with Northern Territory, and then all the way up to Mount Connor, 12 minutes. So all of that is inside Aboriginal territory. Part of Mount Connor isn't. So maybe 5 minutes in. 30, 90, yeah, 45 minutes worth of flying over Aboriginal land. Not to mention all the stuff between Marla and Mintabi. So I left Mintabi at 36, we're at the altitude I want. I'm going to trim that out. With that, we're going to come back to 2500 RPM, and we're going to lean out our mixture. There. Going to drop it back into our altitude. We're probably going to lose a couple of minutes because we're slower on the climb, so we're going to go for a 35 or 36. Yeah, let's do 36 times 2. 12. 7. Rather cloudy, yeah, it's reasonably cold. It's a little, probably warmer than it has been for a little while, but still less than 10, let's put it that way. So 2 minus 60 equals 12. It is 12. Okay, next hour at 12 should be Pukaja. Hi there, Brad. I've not, unfortunately, had the privilege of real-world SGE. I'd love to, but I have not. I've had plenty of other Piper time. Most of it's in fixed wing. All of it's been in fixed gear aircraft. In fact, when's the last time I had a retractable gear? Only once, and that's a 182. One of these days, Aviator is going to take me up into the travel air without it braking, like it has 3 times now that we've tried to go on it. Still got a couple of these dirt tracks cutting their way across. That would be the road to Indulkana. Between Indulkana and Fregon. They don't call Fregon Fregon anymore. Apparently that must be the white man name for the place. It's Celt GT. Celt GT. Right. That's a Birdsville. Nice. You can take it up this way, along the highway. Highway's way over there now, but you know, I just passed the road between Indulkana and Fregon. Be the Yamura Chandler Road. Yamura Chandler Road. Wonder if Chandler is renamed and they didn't bother renaming the road, they just renamed the town. Ah, look at that. When you're outside, you lose 500 feet. Ah, looking. What's the wind doing? 15. What should it be doing? I reckon 18 or 14. Yeah, that's about right. Fregon will be way up there somewhere. apparently that is a little town there called Mimili. They even have a police station over at Mimili. So Pukatja is an interesting little town. It used to be called Emabella. Well inside, almost a little mountain range kind of thing. Again, it's a completely closed Aboriginal town, so you need a permit to be there. Little white things in the ground over there. And the mountain range, I think that's a Peterborough range or something like that. Way up there, on the border. Just going to recheck our temperature. It's gone down quite a bit, so you're like 4 degrees. About that. So I should be doing about 100 and still just over 140 knots. Yeah, I caught 142 as we were before. So a little bit higher, but still doing the same speed. I know we're not allowed to, but I wonder what's under the ground there. I guess we'll never know. Excessively orange. Which means the sand is essentially made out of rust. Iron oxides. That's just the sand on the top. So I've seen Minterby, seen the APY lands, and we'll continue seeing them for quite a fair time yet. APY lands extend, yeah, as I said, pretty much all the way to Uluru. They extend further west than this as well. I believe they own all the way to the West Australia border and possibly a little bit beyond. Is pretty enormous. So Mount Lindsay is theirs, Mount Davies, near Parry. I don't think they have Giles yet. Giles is the weather station, so I think that's Commonwealth territory. And I think Warburton is just beyond the edge of APY. Oh, there's all of this stuff in here too. It's 4,100. Time is 58. And our town is happening in about 15 minutes. That's my next big landmark. In 15 minutes we'll be inside the town, or overhead the town, inside that mountain range, in a little valley. Gotcha. So Pakacha clearly is Anangu, because we've got an Anangu school there, which would be a school that teaches in the Anangu language. fuel situation. We have enough, but we just need to make sure we have enough in the correct tanks. The Aviator, I agree, Trailblazer cool. Pity ours keeps breaking down every time we try and use it, but whatever. There's Sam SC saying, when's the last time we had a retractable undercarriage? And well, only that one time I flew a 182 with Arjun back in the day. Now I've got to say that was a pretty awesome flight. It was all the way from Sydney to Melbourne and back, stopping at Albury and Wagga Wagga. And it was also a very, very good price. Yeah, it's about right. 3,000 in the gun drum there. It cost me, Arjun was getting paid and I paid zero. So yeah. So Arjun made money and I paid none. Haha. God love repositioning the aircraft that aren't yours, that you're not paying for. Current time is 5. So with the time being 5, we have about 8 minutes till we hit the next waypoint, Oodnadatta. Oodnadatta, should I call it? should I really be calling it? Focaccia. One thing I do wonder about this little town of Focaccia is how do you get there? I know there's an airfield, so obviously you can fly there if you really wanted to. There's apparently a dirt track. Okay. Comes in from the east only. Or from the north. Can't get there from the south. Unless you're walking. I think that might be our town there. That might be it here, and that might be the airfield there. Keeping it rolling. Well, that's definitely an airfield, and that'll be our town. Cool. Once we hit the town, we'll be overhead the town, we'll change our heading, and it'll be 003, almost directly north. Yes, Australia's outback does look like Mars, or certainly a different planet that's not Earth. And the fact that you can't walk around these towns without a permit, interesting stuff. You wouldn't think it's in Australia. But the Aborigines own the land here as a corporation. It's like a private property that's the size of a state. Certainly is the airfield that we're aiming at. Yeah, all the land between the last three waypoints, this is all essentially privately owned by a council, a Aborigine Land Grant Council. It's owned by the APY. Anengu Pitjanchachara Yankila. Sorry on the pronunciation, certainly on the last one. I know I got that wrong. Pitjanchachara, I'm getting close. Anengu's relatively easy to pronounce. There's a little closed town. If you want to go there and you're a government official, you need to apply something like 2 months in advance. Very much There's nothing out there, man. The definition of hostile territory. Anyway, let's make our heading change. Gonna go north now. The autopilot on this aircraft can't maintain an altitude as it turns. Done. Correct. And we need to reset our clock. Time was 12. I'm going to call that 11. And it'll be 9 minutes from now to the border. Which will be 20. And then 32 till Mount Connor. I think it might be. This is the autopilot. It's to call it basic would be an insult to basic autopilots. It's basically a heading hold. That's all it can do. You can't maintain an altitude. You need the trim for that. And yeah, it kind of holds a heading. When we initially engaged it after takeoff, we had set a heading to turn left, so we turned the autopilot on, and of course it turned right, and then back around to the left. It's like, got there eventually. I'm not sure if that is the Peterman Ranges. No, Peterman's the ones that join into Alice Springs. These are not the Peterman Ranges. If anybody knows what the name of that mountain range is, the one that's near Emabella, Amata, and Pukacha, then let me know. But it's not on Google. It's the one that was near Fregon, back when they called Fregon. Good looking hills, I like them. Ah yes, I remember the old beepy noise on the workload meter. Little flashing light come on, you get there. Meep, 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 meep. I need some trim. I don't think this autopilot even has that. The only aircraft that I've flown in real life with that is Hotel Tango Bike, HTM. But that didn't really work on that thing anyway. HTM was like, yeah, it's got an autopilot, and what does it do? It doesn't maintain altitude. What does this altitude button do? Literally nothing. I know it would be sacrilege to say it, but you know, those hills would have some certain things under them, wouldn't they? That's straight up bedrock that's been lifted up past the desert floor. You can actually see the scoring marks from the layering. It's like it was originally there, but it's been layered off into the side. The earth has been folded up, broken up, and then withered away. I'm sure that is of extreme geological interest to someone. Look at that. Different layers of different hardness. You got these like streaks through the mountains. Wouldn't even be able to tell how much cool stuff is in there. A completely different colour over there to the rest of the desert. Okay, that might be a photographic artifact maybe. It's a little too clean there. But this isn't. Like that's ridge lines. You can see it's not even flat. It's like bent, jagged at the top of this hill. It's intense. Okay, we hit Mount Connor at time 32, current time 17. We should see a mountain somewhere in front of us. It looks a little bit like Ayers Rock, but it's not. Still got 20 minutes to get there. Yeah, 15. What's the wind doing? 15 knots off the side. And we estimated 14 knots. We got 15, 14, 15. Yeah. Weather seems to be doing what it was meant to be doing. So I'm happy with that. Just going to check our heading is nowhere near where it should be. Alright, cool. I'm showing 20. Yeah, it's 15. We've got to reset our DG as we came through that 30-degree turn. About right now. Okay, what's the heading that we need to intercept inbound? It is track 288. Gonna leave it like that for the moment. So we hit 288. think I've spotted where we need to be because we had our heading on the wrong position. Yeah, that's got to be it. Cool, I'm going to go straight ahead, then we'll hit out 288, make the turn inbound, and then fly Mount Connor, which I believe is that. It also is a monolith, just like Ayers Rock. Not as famous. It's a little bit flatter, not as tall, kind of rounded at the edges, a little bit of tree cover on one side of it. And it sits inside private land. No tourists allowed. And this time, properly private land, not Aboriginal Council land. This is a specific family or individual or company owns this. Start the cut in. Look how red that is. That's insane. Time for camel spotting. Indeed. Either that or time to don your, space suit and go for a walk. That's one small step for a man. One giant leap for walking around on Mars. Good news, everyone. Righto. Good stuff, Aviator. It's the old turn left to go 5 degrees to the right kind of thing, is it? Great. Someone got the left and right mixed up again? Good old Snapchat. Been there, done that. it should be coming up to the road that heads up to Ayers Rock, Uluru, actually Uluru, which is the town and resort for Uluru. And just north of the resort town is the airport. I say the airport reluctantly because, as we know, the big rock is called Uluru. And the airport ain't. The airport is Ayers Rock Connelan. Or Connelan. Speaking of which, it's about time to get its ATIS.
Automated Weather Information Service, Uluru Airport. Time 1125 Zulu. Wind 070 degrees magnetic at 7 knots. Visibility 25 kilometers. Cloud clear below 10,000 feet. Temperature 17. Dew point 10. QNH 1022 hectopascals. Rainfall last 10 minutes nil.
Alright, so wind 0707, QNH 1022. I'm going to set that QNH now. It's already set. It's been pretty stable the whole flight. 188, so it's direct 2 now, and we're going to change to the heading. Runway 13, heading 070, yeah, so it's going to be runway 13. We're coming in from a pretty good, straight onto a downwind entry. Runway 13 with left hand downwind. So once again, this is not Ayers Rock. Not Ayers Rock. The rock that you see there is not Ayers Rock. That's Mount Connelan. Mount Connor, should I say. Sometimes they call it the false rock, because if you're driving to Uluru from Alice Springs, this is the first rock you see. As you come alongside, oh, there's Uluru. No, it's not Uluru. Random piece of rock out in the desert. Mount Connor. That's indeed correct, Odilio. This is not the rock you're looking for. The road in from Alice Springs is just along the edge of those lakes to our north. I believe one of those lakes is called Lake Amadeus. Very classical of it. And once again, you can't access Mount Connor because it's on private property. Someone owns it. And they've got a fence there. If I owned Mount Connor, I would totally make a completely separate tourist attraction out of the thing. That's just me. Like, welcome to the fake rock. The other beating heart of Time Lord Australia. McDonnell Range is looking pretty good. Sounds like something we'll be looking forward to in the coming months. The next stop after this, we'll be doing a tour of Uluru and Katsajuda later. But the next major stop on the fixed wing aircraft will be Alice Springs. So we're kind of tracking back east for a while. Then we're going to do like Hermansburg and all of those weird little airfields on the way out towards Warburton. So there we have it, Mount Connor, not the rock. There's a road out there in the distance. And there's the fake rock. Said it's covered in trees, so I guess that makes it less interesting somehow. Still a massive like monolith that just comes out of the desert floor alone for no good reason. And there you go. Yeah, the road will probably be quite green. It's been raining quite a bit the last couple of years. Since 2020 they've had like, yeah, 3 good seasons of rain. 2. 2020, 21 and this year. Yeah, it's been 3. Remember the P3D version of this flight going in the other direction. That was pre-lockdown. That was, I'm thinking February 19. No, February 20. Somewhere around there. Towards the end of 19, I think it was. The word coronavirus had barely entered the lexicon at that point in time. Anyhow, we're about 50 miles out. We've got an airfield at 1,600. Our circuit height's 2,600. And it'll be 3,100 if we're doing an overflight, but we're not. So 2.6 is our circuit height. Frequency we'll need to be on, I suspect is the same, but we'll check it nevertheless. Flight procedures. Aircraft shall broadcast on the CTAF at 20 miles, not 10. Request of the broadcast intended runway for landing, which is 13, and the planned circuit entry, which is a extended left downwind. On the CTAF until 20 miles, even outbound, okay. Right hand circuit's on 131, but we're on 13, so it's left. No viz takeoff, less than 800 meters and not aborted. Funny. So if there's any rain, fog, it might be foggy occasionally, or dust storms, just don't do it. Seats out for 1269er. YAYE CTAF. And we make our broadcast at 20 miles. Alright. At least we've returned to the kind of areas where tourists might dare tread. Certainly there's the road, so... Yes, MNM would be minimal. Minimum. Currently we're south of the road. Road's coming at us slowly. We'll cross it at some point. Yeah, 48. 10 minutes until we're 10 miles out, but we're doing a broadcast at 20. And after that, it's 4 minutes into the airfield, which would be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 50, I'm going to go 53 because we do need to slow down. If we're doing 1,000 feet per minute on descent, that's probably a bit much. Let's do 500. So it's going to be half that. We're at 6,005, we need to be at, what was it, 2,600, or 2,500. So we need to lose 65432, that's 4,000, 8 minutes. So we start our descent at 45, at 500 a minute. Yes, I've timed my descent rather than per miled it. I know that's a bit weird, but yeah, I'm starting my descent at 45 minutes past the hour, so that we arrive descending at 500 feet a minute at 2,500 feet. And of course we'll level off at 2,600, so we slot into that spot and then we should be on downwind. Like, where did that road get to? There it is. What's our fuel tank situation looking like? I think we'll leave it on those tanks. They're pretty much even. No need to change when we don't have to. lights are on. Don't need the pitot heat on. There's no clouds to speak of. And it's, what's that? 6 degrees up here. 18 down there. $17, sorry. Too many names down here. We have Uluru, which is the rock itself. Used to be called Ayers Rock, but you know, Aboriginal names take precedence now. Then we have Uluru, which is the township next to there. And you have the airfield itself, which is still called Ayers Rock, but also gets the name Connelan, which is named after, I think, ostensibly an airline that used to work there, itself named after a man who ran the airline. So Connelan Airways, sometimes called Conair, I think it was. Yeah, Conair. Bit of interesting history on that if you want to look it up on Wikipedia. We'll probably talk about it when we fly to Alice Springs, because that's where it happened. The event that I'm thinking of. But yeah, the airline Connelan Airways used to be based in Ayers Rock Airfield. Dingo probably recognises what I'm talking about. There was an event relating to a Beechcraft, I think it was a Baron. That was in Alice Springs, not here at the Rock. So I'll talk about that in Alice Springs when I get there. Slowly bringing that rotor a little bit closer, mile to mile, and we're about to hit the broadcast marker. Time is 45 as well, so I'm going to put us into a descent, 500 per minute. It is. Going to increase that a little. Going to bring back our power, our touch, and we're going to make our broadcast. Ayers Rock traffic. Sierra Golf Echo is a Piper Arrow. We're on descent out of 6,500. Currently 20 miles to the east of Ayers Rock Aerodrome. We'll be joining direct entry to the downwind. Left downwind, runway 13. Traffic, Ayers Rock. Looking to peg that 500. We're getting some of these clouds baked into the scenery. Noted. And their shadows as well. Unfortunate that that's happening so close to Uluru. Yeah, there's a couple of things we need to do for the gear. Go. The gear is on and ready. Armed and ready. So passing, what's it, 12 now? We've already made our broadcast. Let's run our landing checklist, or before landing checklist. Undercarriage is still up, brakes are ready. Next just getting there. Current speed will be 70 at full flaps. There's the so-called Orbx or Kathajura, and there's a big rock over there. Got to clear my wing slightly. A big rock. Autopilot's off. Is that her? Can't tell if that's airport or if it's Uluru. I've a funny feeling it's Uluru. Could make that airport. North of the road, there's the road. That's Uluru. Airport spotted. Got it. It's quite hard to spot under that shadow right there. Is there a cloud somewhere around that's casting that shadow? Powering back a little. Mixture to come up full rich. Sorted. Pump is in. Ayers Rock traffic, Sierra Golf Echo is a Piper Arrow, is 2,900 feet. We're joining left downwind runway 13. Traffic Ayers Rock. There she is. Yep, landing gear is armed. Flashing away. Thank you for reminding me, that is a weird thing with these aircraft. And I'm going to reduce that speed a little bit. So let's trim that up. Let's get it into the white arc and we can drop some landing gear. Gear down. Three green. Prop full. Gonna drop in stage 1 of flap. Trim that out. Brakes, undercarriage is down, 3 green. Brakes released. Mixture, full rich. Fuel is set to the fullest tank. Instrument is set for landing and seats and houses are secure. Landing check is complete. Ayers Rock traffic, Sierra Golf Echo, turning base, runway 13. Ayers Rock traffic, Sierra Golf Echo, final, runway 13. Little overshoot. Bit of crosswind from the left. Full flaps. There's is our 70. Ayers rock traffic, Sierra Golf Echo has vacated all runways. Fuel pumps off, mixture coming back. I guess that's closed. We'll go down the open taxiway then. Flaps up. Is there a clock? Well, there's one on your hand. I'm not sure there is one. Let's have a look. Have you ever seen a clock in a real Papa Cherokee that actually works? I mean, I've seen clocks, but they're never set to the correct time. Not UTC. The minute hands aren't correct, usually. So, yeah. Wear a clock. I'm guessing the real SGE does. At least have a space for a clock. But I don't think this one does. Someone's 717 over there. Ready to head out to Alice Springs or Adelaide. RFDS only. We are not the RFDS. Territory time, yeah, that's right. What time is it today? Thursday. I didn't ask the day. Yeah. Thursday. That's what time it is. Down past the choppers. I think I'm on the wrong side of that yellow line. I need to be over there. That dude's sitting right in the middle of a laneway, so clearly we can't go there. Don't want to be marshalled into my Cessna spot. Thanks. I'm quite capable of seeing it myself. Let's go as far close to the hangar as we can get. So I think we can go into these buildings, and I believe one of those might be a dunny, which after a 2-hour slog in a Piper, yeah, that's where we'll be heading. Into the air-conditioned, hopefully, dunny. Position 15. Parking brake set. Give it 1,000 RPM. Happy with that. Let's get out. Good work. Parking could have been better. Not the best parking job I've ever seen. I'll certainly have to push the left wing forward a bit. Anyhow, we're at Uluru. This month is going to be quite a busy one, so I don't know when I'll get to do another one of these. But at some point, there's a big rock over there to have a look at, so we might take the helicopter out for that. And probably sometime next month, I'd imagine, we'll push ahead towards Alice Springs, following that 717. I think there was some request up there further from Dingo to buy a flight simware Cessna 414. So that might be the better way of getting to Warburton from Alice Springs, because flying this thing to Warburton, I think that'd take like 3 or 4 hours. So a Cessna 414 Chancer, on the other hand, a little bit quicker. A little bit quicker. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll take this aircraft to Alice Springs, and then we'll pop the 414 between Alice Springs and Warburton. Anyway, that's probably not going to happen until next month sometime. between then and now, I've got concerts on, I've got brass band play in a park kind of things going on, I've got a bandstand situation going on, now I'm going a LARPing, so I'm going to camp in a bell tent for a week, being a campaign trumpeter on crusade. Going to be running a barding guild, and yeah, then we'll get back into the real world and then fly that flight over to Alice. Other than that, we have FNO coming up this weekend. I think it is an FNO everywhere, so it's probably going to be a flop, but we'll see how we go. And then there's Cross the Land, about 9 PM on Saturday, which, yeah, I'm going to take, I think it's going to be the 777 or the A330 maybe. One of the big aircraft. Might be the 330. So yeah, busy month, but good month. Let's close our doors here. And with that done, the chocks are in. I bid ye all adieu till next time. Bye for now.